Hello everybody, it's Jess here with Blessed Jess. Thank you so much for watching. I thought I would show you some of my most requested recipes. These are the things I prep for us to eat on all week. I do not do these all in one day, but I do them over the course of several days. But just having everything ready to go and in the fridge, it helps us so much. So I thought I would do a big video here and show you some of our most requested keto recipes, but if you're not on keto, still stay tuned. So let me show you some of these. These are our favorite sausage balls right now. They make a ton and they are so keto friendly, but like I said, even if you're not on keto, you will love these. So I accidentally deleted the clip of me mixing these up, but it's so easy, you guys. It's a pound of mild sausage, a pound of hot sausage, and I'm talking about like the Jimmy Dean kind or a similar brand. And then it is also a pound of ground beef, 2 eggs, and a half a pound of shredded cheese. That is it. Then you roll them into as big or small balls as you like, and you bake them in the oven. I believe I baked them on 400. I'll leave the recipe down below just to make sure I'm telling you guys right. And this made 64 balls. I did them over the course of like 3 or 4 sheet pans. So this is what they look like when they come out. And you guys, these are so good. I just let them drain on a paper towel, just like that. And then, like I said, these make a lot, so I ended up freezing some of these and we love them. I put them in these little bags and we've been eating on them all week and they are so good. Next up, I'm going to show you the new favorite fat bomb. These are even better than the ones I was making. These are peanut butter fat bombs and they are so easy to make. So it starts off, you're going to need, and I did this by weight, but you could do it just by measuring 2 tablespoons of coconut oil. It was so hot that day, so it was already liquidy, but 2 tablespoons of coconut oil. And then you're going to go in with 2 tablespoons of butter. It is a fat bomb after all. And then 4 tablespoons of your choice of peanut butter. Like I said, I like doing this by weight just because I don't have to be completely as accurate with the spoons. I think this is way more accurate just doing it by weight, and it's a lot less messy. And then 3 packets of sweetener. I just did a little bit less than 3 tablespoons of my monk fruit sweetener and it was perfect. And then as much vanilla as you want, about a teaspoon. Also, you're going to add about 2 tablespoons of cream cheese, or I think the recipe said 1.5, and then 1 tablespoon or 3 teaspoons of cocoa powder. That's what makes them chocolatey. And then you're just going to microwave this. Like I said, this is such an easy recipe. You just microwave it till it gets, I did it in like 30-second increments. So here I am mixing it, and then I'm going to microwave it again for 30 seconds until it gets as liquidy as possible. There is still some chunks of cream cheese that didn't blend all the way, but that did not bother me at all. It still tasted delicious. And then I just put them into a muffin tin that I had lined with some cupcake liners just so they won't stick. And these are going to go in the freezer. I got 10 little, whatever these are called, little fat bombs out of here. And I froze them for 30 minutes and then they pop right out. Look, they look like little Reese cups. And I stuck them in a Ziploc bag. And you guys, these do not last long in the fridge. Like, they were gone within a few days. These were delicious. They tasted so good. They were definitely one of the easiest fat bombs and the best. Next up, I prepped some hard-boiled eggs. I want to show you how I do it in this pressure cooker. Of course, you could do it any way you want, but I like to make them in the pressure cooker. It makes them so easy to peel. So you just put a cup of water in the bottom, and then your eggs go on top of the little tray. And I do the 5-5-5 method. So you put it on high pressure for 5 minutes. That's what I'm doing now. Make sure it's on high pressure, and then I'm going to set it for 5 minutes. And then as soon as it beeps, you're going to let it do a natural release. That means you don't do anything to it. You just stop the pressure cooker and you let it do a natural release for 5 minutes. And then after that's up, you're going to put them into an ice bath for 5 minutes. So now both of those minutes are up. Now I'm going to let them have their last 5 minutes in the ice bath. And these are like the most perfect hard-boiled eggs you will ever have. They are so easy and they turn out perfect every single time. But I like doing this because then we have them ready to go in the fridge, and it's just so much easier to have them already peeled and ready to go. So I just let them sit in the ice bath for 5 minutes, and then I go ahead and peel them and stick them into a airtight container for the refrigerator. So there I am peeling all the eggs. They peel so easy, and these were super fresh eggs. I just peeled them right, like like butter, just peeled them off. They were so perfect, and I just stuck them in my container. I wanted to show you the inside of one because everybody always wonders. I hate overcooked hard-boiled eggs, but these, like I said, were absolutely perfect, yellow, and completely delicious. All right. Next up, I'm going to show you some fruit and veggie prep. This just makes lunches and snacks so much easier. So Lucy loves grapes. So when I buy grapes, I wash them really good, and I go ahead and take the stems off and put them in a Ziploc bag. This seems so simple, but it honestly saves me so much time every morning when I'm packing her lunch or making her dinner that they're all ready to go. So I just get them all ready, put them in a Ziploc bag. And then what I like to do is stick a paper towel in there just to collect any moisture, and they will stay fresh like that in the fridge for a long time. Next up, I get her peppers ready. You guys know Lucy loves her peppers, and this is another huge time saver. Every day, every week when I get her peppers, I go ahead and trim them and slice them up and put them in a Ziploc bag because it saves me so much time. So this week I had a yellow and an orange, so I went ahead and just sliced that up. Go ahead and prep your veggies. It saves you actually a lot of time for your week and your meals and your snacks and all of that. Okay, perfect oven bacon. Let me show you how I do it. So what I do is I take a cookie sheet and I stick a cooling rack on top. It's like a cookie cooling rack. And then I put my bacon on top of that. I also have some foil underneath the cookie rack. The cooling rack. So then I stick it into an oven. I like to do it at 375, and in about 30 minutes you have the most perfect bacon. And I like the cooling rack because the bacon doesn't sit in the grease. It all drains off and you're left with super crispy, not chewy bacon. And what I like to do is I just cook up a bunch of this at once and then stick it in a Ziploc bag. And then whenever we want bacon throughout the week, we don't have to worry about cooking it. We just stick it in the microwave, or even better, in the air fryer, you guys, and just heat it up. It is the perfect bacon, and this is such a cheap thing. I got those cooling racks at the dollar store. Look at Layla, she's waiting for bacon. But I got those little cookie cooling racks at the dollar store. So a super little method of cooking bacon. It's perfect every single time. And there I am, just sticking it in. I also like to line it with some paper towels so that it just stays fresh and perfect. Okay, now this was the moon cheese recipe. It didn't quite turn out like I wanted to, but it still was really good. So if you've ever had the moon cheese packages, you know those things are delicious, but they are expensive. So I had a video. I'll try to link that video down below, but like I said, it's kind of, these didn't turn out quite perfect. But anyway, I'm chopping up the cheese. They said you could use any cheese into little tiny squares. You can see that, little bite-sized pieces. This is a pound block of cheese, but I only used half of this for this recipe. So the other half I just kept in a bag to snack on and top with salads. So I have my oven preheated to 200 degrees. And the thought is here, you're going to put this on a cookie sheet with some parchment paper, spread it out just a little bit so that it doesn't stick together. You're going to put it into a 200-degree oven for an hour. And then what you're supposed to do is bump it up to about 320, I believe it was, and the cheese should pop. Like they showed it, there it is after an hour. And then I cranked my temperature up and it's supposed to pop, like it looks like popcorn. I left mine in at that 320 for about 20 minutes and nothing ever happened. It got really crunchy, but they did not puff and pop like that. Anyway, they were still good. I drained it on a paper towel and we just ate these like cheese crackers. They were really, really good, but they weren't like a puffy moon cheese. So I don't know if it's my cheese choice or what I did wrong, but something did not go quite right. Okay, next up, I make these almost every week for David. These are like little egg muffins, and he loves eating these for breakfast, and it's really fast. So I cracked in about 7 or 8 eggs. I think there's 7 in there, into a big measuring cup, and I put in a splash of heavy whipping cream and salt and pepper, and then I also threw in some Parmesan cheese. You can use any cheese you want, and then I just mixed it up really, really good. And then the next thing I'm going to do is just pour this mixture into a muffin tin, and I like to line it with cupcake liners just so they don't stick. I've done it without these and they stick so bad. And I also spray these really well because the egg mixture is really sticky. And then I just pour it all in. I didn't get all, I think I got 11 out of this mixture of 7 eggs. So next time I probably should do 8. So I just pour the mixture in, and then you can top it with anything you like. I like to do the bacon on top because they get kind of crispy being on top as opposed to being on the bottom of the egg mixture or mixed in. So this is my pre-cooked bacon I had in the fridge. I just sliced it up and put it on top. And I like to cook these at 325, just low and slow until they're done. I can't remember exactly how long, maybe 10 to 15 minutes. It doesn't take long. And then I stick these in a Ziploc, or actually this time I stuck it in like a Tupperware container once they got done. These puff up so nicely. And then I stick them in a Tupperware container, and then when we're ready for them in the morning, I stick them either in the air fryer to warm them up or the microwave. David has about 2 or 3 of these in the morning, and it's nice protein, 0 carbs, and they're just really, really easy and fast, and he loves them. So that is my egg muffin recipe, you guys. Super good. All right, next, this is so obvious and so simple. Shredded cheese. I like to buy it on the block because it just tastes better and it melts better. But if I had to shred it every time I needed it, it would be such a pain. So what I like to do is I put some parchment paper down and I go ahead and shred a huge bunch of it at a time, stick it in a big gallon-sized Ziploc bag, and this will be enough cheese for us for several weeks, and it stays nice and fresh, and it's perfect. Okay, this is my most requested, the keto ranch, you guys. Like I said, even if you're not doing keto, this stuff is awesome. So I take half a cup of heavy whipping cream. You could also use milk, and we're gonna make a buttermilk. So we just pour about half a teaspoon of apple cider vinegar or any vinegar you want, and let it just sit in that heavy cream. Next step, you're gonna take half a cup of sour cream, and you're gonna throw that into a, I like to use it in this big mixing bowl. Or a measuring bowl. And so half a cup of sour cream, and then you're going to take 3/4 cup of mayo. I like this Heinz mayo, it's pretty good. So 3/4 cup of that right down into the bowl. I like to use my measuring cups for this, but you could also use your scale or just eyeball it. It's not super hard. 3/4 cup of mayo. Then you're going to take 3/4 teaspoon of dill. I actually use about a teaspoon of dill because I love it. So 3/4 teaspoon of dill, half a teaspoon of salt, 3/4 teaspoon of onion powder, 3/4 teaspoon of garlic powder, and then 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper, but I like to grind my own right there. Makes such a big difference. And then you're going to need 2 full teaspoons of parsley flakes. You guys, this is so good. It's all made from scratch. It's super affordable. I can't tell you enough how good this is. So what you're going to do after that is you're going to go ahead and put your cream that's been sitting with the vinegar into the mixture, and you're going to start whisking it together. Now this is super thick. If you guys watch me for a while, you know I like a more thin dressing, and this is thick like a dip. So what I do at this point after I mix it together is I add another 1/4 of a cup to 1/3 of a cup of water. And I just get it to the consistency I like. And then as this sits in the fridge, it will continue to get thicker. So every time I use it, I kind of check it and see if it needs a little bit more water. It doesn't affect the taste at all, but it just makes it more pourable, and it also lightens the amount you need to use at a time. So I store mine in a mason jar. It just saves space in the fridge and keeps it really fresh. So I'm just going to pour the ranch into there. This is the absolute best ranch I've ever had, on keto or not. It's so good, and I make this every single week, you guys. You have to try it. So that is going to be it. All of these recipes will be linked down below. Let me know if you like this kind of video. It's my first time doing one of these, and I hope you guys liked it. If you did, make sure you give me a big thumbs up. Leave me a comment down below. Please subscribe if you're new. I would love to have you a part of my YouTube family, and I'll see you guys all next time. Bye, y'all.